Hey there, welcome to Gaz and Shinazz. He's Gaz, I'm Shinazz, part of the SharkCast pod, tree of podcasts. We are here at Shark Stadium for the Gaz and Shinazz show. And we're going to get through it without the laughs today because it's a very serious matter. Very serious. Sharks need one more win before the bye next week. We got the Roosters up at Gosford. It's a wet old week in Sydney town in New South Wales. And people would have seen last night in the Canterbury Dolphins game, horrific conditions there. But before we get there, Gary, there was a storm here on Saturday night, and the storm was defeated 31-26, I want to say. Classic encounter. And anyone who was down here, a game you'll remember for a long time. And I had a ball up here in the upper Andrew Eddinghausen. You were all over the shop in the stadium. Tell us about your experience and what you thought.
Yeah, it was a good game. I thought I was going to get wet out there, but there was no storm in sight. So it was good to get the win. But yeah, it was a crazy game. Obviously, swings back and forth. Thought we were going to lose it there at the start of the second half, but we held on and we did the job. And it was, a great experience out there. The fans really brought the energy and the atmosphere, and it was great to be back at home for another win at Shark Stadium.
Now, before all of you critics tell us about the lighting, we're aware of the lighting, but it's all good because when it goes dark, you can see the players in the background doing the captain's run. Don't tell Fitzy. Now, who was your standout, Gary? Standouts in the Storm game?
I love Blake Brayley's game. I thought he was really, really good. Obviously, Nico controlled the game really well as well. But, there's moments there where Brails looked up and took off and, attacked the line with a bit of purpose. And off the back of those runs, we made some good meters or we scored a few tries. So it was great to see him have a crack. And obviously in defense, he's just week in, week out, such a solid defender. But yeah, I thought Blake had a really, really good game.
So he only made 30 tackles, which is still a lot for any rugby league player, but it's down on what he usually does. And that allowed him to attack more, be fresher. So I think a key moving forward, if we can somehow get him to make less tackles somehow, I'm not sure how you do that. That might be an indicator on how well Brayley's attack's going to go. Fanua Blake, outstanding. Nico Hines, outstanding. Didn't have a bad player out there, but I thought that those three guys in particular would have been the 3-2-1s for a lot of people. Yeah. But a great team effort, a lot of resilience shown. We lost two players on our right edge within, was it within 20 minutes? I can't remember the time frame, but
25 easily.
Yeah, so it was difficult circumstances, a very parochial crowd here, which got them home. But they defended their butts off, and even under other sort of adversity of errors, unforced, uncharacteristic errors from different players in the team, they still bounced back. Those players bounced back as well. So good signs for the Sharks.
Great signs, especially when you look at that Melbourne side. That was pretty much a full-strength side. So
stacked.
To lose those two guys in such key positions, like our whole edge was pretty much gone. So to lose two key positions like that and to hold on, that resilience that we showed, as you mentioned, just out of this world, great performance.
Also, shout out to a guy like Dan Atkinson, who some fans have been critical about him being the 14th guy in the team, the utility on the bench, whether you need one or not. In the past 2 weeks, he's shown that we need him there. And even though there is that highlight reel for Coates, not for us, but for Coates jumping over Atco, the guy did all he could do. I mean, he's half the size. And then some great coaching as well as player communication with the switching of Ronaldo and Atkinson. And then Atkinson scored a try. So, shout out to those guys. Siffer as well, unbelievable hands. Those guys that came into the team after the 20 minutes and held their own in most circumstances.
Yeah, and obviously we've seen Siffer go to centres for pretty much a whole year, and he does a really good job out there. He's one of those guys that the defence, they have to go and get. You don't know what he's going to do, but he does have those quick, soft, silky hands. So, even if he's drawing in 3 or 4 blokes, he's still going to get a pass away. So it's good to see Atco on the end of those. And, as you mentioned, those guys coming in out of position as such, they did such a good job.
Now, I know the coach was pretty proud of the effort in particular. Can you highlight that for us from what you heard, what you saw?
Yeah, obviously, it was that word, that resilience that we showed in both attack and defense. We didn't panic too much. We just got the job done and everyone knew their role. And as you mentioned, those tactics at the back end of the game where they're switching players, Ronnie would look up and he'd see Atco or he'd get the call and they'd just switch straight away. There wasn't any questioning it. They just knew what they needed to do and they got it done. And Fitzy was really proud of the effort that the boys showed. And obviously everyone at the club was very happy with the performance.
Yeah, great stuff. And we're in 5th place going into this game against the Roosters.
Yeah.
win that, get the bye. It'll be a 4-point win. Now, it's not going to be as easy as that, and we are aware of the number of players that the Roosters are missing through Origin and other things. They're missing at least 5 really great players. But what they have left is good players, great players, in Tedesco, Victor Radley, a bunch of really good players. Even the fella whose name we can't pronounce, Mark, who's in the outside backs, like we saw him have some blunders, but then in the same breath score the try of the century.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a challenge. And I think the conditions, I mean, I've got no idea about the condition in the field up there at the moment, but I think conditions in general this weekend are going to be tough. And we do like ball in play. So when ball's in play and it's slippery and wet, it's not going to be as easy. I don't think it's just a done deal that we turn up and win. And I'm sure the coach and coaching staff will be all over the team in captain's run right now. You can see in the background what's going on, a few things. And I'm sure the communication there for their overnight camp as well as game day will be, do not take these guys lightly. And I know all our Sharks fans, they worry about this stuff, Gary, in all, you know, they do. They worry about the mental side of our team, and are they going to take them too lightly? And if we're losing, they're taking them too lightly. They're not going to take them too lightly. They've learnt their lessons this year. And I'm here to tell you this, the Roosters are going to be very competitive. They're a competitive club. They love to win, and it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, and they've got guys like James Tedesco left out of the blue side that he'll want to go out there and prove a point. And as you mentioned, that Mark in the centres, Marky Mark, he's such a strong runner of the ball, and he's got those silky skills, and to be able to hop and kick a ball and regather it and do all that stuff that he did last week, like you got to be on your toes for guys like that. And the boys definitely won't be taking the Roosters lightly. And I think the sun's meant to come out tomorrow morning, so hopefully it's a bit of a drier track up there. I know that field has some pretty good drainage in place, so we'll see what it's like. But yeah, fingers crossed we get a dry game up there.
And we won't know the direct completed confirmed team until an hour before kickoff. The team that we've named, we do know that Mawini Harodi has been named on a wing for Sam Stone Street. We send our love and respect to him. He'll be out for a couple of months, we think, at worst, hopefully a bit better. And what other changes do we have, Gary? Is that it? That's the only change from the starting team last week.
Yeah, that's the only change from the starting team. So obviously Stoney unfortunately picked up that injury and he'll be out for a little while. But Mars, we've seen what he can do when he comes into the side, so there's no issues there.
And we know Jesse Ramian has been named, and we can tell you as a spoiler at Captain's Run, he's out there doing things, and he looks like he can see pretty good. So there is no reason to think that Jesse will not be out there. We were planning on wearing patches to the stadium in respect of him, but we don't need to. You can send those patches back to Timu or wherever you got them from, because Jesse Ramian is going to be A-OK. As of this moment, things can always change, but at this moment we think, in fact, we know that he's locked in and going to play. Now, what are you expecting from the Sharks team tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it'll be simple football. I think we need to control the ruck and, work them through the middle and tire out their big forwards. And, I'm expecting another showing just like the one against the Storm, a bit of purpose, a bit of intent, running hard, tackling hard, all that basic stuff that we need to get right. And I think if we can do that and control the game, we'll come away with the 2 points, which ultimately.
Now, where the Roosters are missing most of their guys is their pack. And so the pack they've named is a very honest one. I'm not going to tell you that it's no good. I'm not going to tell you anything like that. But I think that's where the advantage lies. And we saw last week what our pack can do against one of the best packs in the comp, if not the best pack of the comp. So we've got it in us. And obviously there's one guy who's leading the way. That's Fanua Blake. Yes. He played, I think, 63 minutes last week. Hopefully for his sake and for ours, he doesn't need to do that this week. But if he does, we know he can do it. But that's where we're going to get him, because the forwards win matches. You get up the other end, you hang out in the other end, the opposition 20, and then let the other fellas do their work, and they'll do it. Like our halves and back line are going fantastic, but we need to win that forward battle. Absolutely. And that's where it's going to be won. And I think that's where the important message goes out, that don't take these guys lightly, because on any day, any forward pack, any team can win the game. We've seen that. We saw the Dolphins score 44 points in horrendous conditions last night against a pretty good defense. I know the Bulldogs are missing some guys, but their team was still pretty solid. So there's no given in this comp, and our team knows that, and that's what we're going to see. And I think that's where we win it, Gary, the forwards.
Yeah, and it's such an important game. Like, obviously, the comp's so close this year that we can't afford to drop too many games like this. And leading into a bye, you want to get that momentum, and you want to have a good rest and come back refreshed after that. So if we can get 4 points out of this, we'll be in a great spot.
the draw post bye is not a bad one as well. Like we've sort of gotten through the bad patch pretty well, sitting in fifth, and there's one more game to go. And I'm sure that the coaching staff are laboring the point how important this game is. And it's not about getting to the bye. Like, it's not the attitude. The attitude is we got Roosters in Gosford. A lot of our fans will be there. Let's go out and let's win the game. And then they can concentrate on the bye, family time, etc. So a very important game coming up. Very important as far as ladder status and top four aspirations and that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. Like, obviously, it'll have a big impact on, well, the Roosters, they're pretty close to us at the moment as well. So, you know, we want to keep them below us. We want to keep most of the ladder below us. So to come away with those 2 points is crucial this week. And yeah, as you said, they're not looking too far ahead towards the bye. They take it week by week, and all focus is fully on the Roosters, and they know what kind of attacking side they can be. And defensively, they're always pretty solid every year. So we've got to be on our game, and the boys know that, and Fitzy knows that. And yeah, we've got the plans in place to get the job done.
It's interesting, Gary, the mail we get at SharkCast Pod, which you hear and see yourself, some of our fans have this expectation that they want to see us win by a big margin. And if we don't, it's kind of a negative towards the club and the team. And I don't really take that opinion. I just want the win, move on. Now, I want us to play great. I want us to be the dominant team, have good habits, etc. But if we don't win every game by 20, we don't kick on, as they say, I'm not overly concerned. But this week, we've already had a lot of mail about we should be beating this team by a certain amount to prove we're contenders. I personally am not buying into that. As I say most weeks, a 1 point win will do me, because when you get to September, you don't really think about these moments, about whether you smoked a team or not. Now, also in September, it's very rare that finals games are won by big margins. I mean, they can be, but usually a good contest happens and you win by 1 to 10 points. So I don't have a problem with our team not demolishing the Roosters. Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. They're missing 5 players from their starting team. Of course it's possible. But I think conditions and just probably the desperation of that Roosters team. I know Trent Robinson will have them pretty fired up.
Yeah, for sure.
I think our fans should be ready for what potentially could be a tight one for a portion of the game. I'm not saying we won't kick on. I'm not saying we won't win, but I think there is a chance that it could be a bit of a wrestle for a while.
Yeah, I think so as well. And, you know, if people want to sit there and talk about being contenders, we just beat a full strength Melbourne side, you know, with 2 of our guys out and a few people missing. So I think it doesn't matter if we win by 50, win by 1. As long as we get the 2 points, that's all that matters this weekend.
Now, what's happening in Sharkland, Gary? What can we talk about in Sharkland? Official Sharkland.
The NRLW girls are back. So they've been ripping into preseason. We had our content day on Tuesday, was it? But yeah, all the girls back in and ripping into their preseason training. So looking forward to seeing them back on the park and obviously going one better this year, you know, getting to that grand final again, but taking away the trophy. Super exciting, really stacked team. And I'm looking forward to it. I love having 2 Sharks teams to support, and you'll be hearing about NRLW Sharks a lot on this program on the podcast feed. So stick with us, SharkCast Pod, Gaz and Shinazz. And that's very exciting. It's what, probably, are we a month? 6 weeks? A month, something like that. So obviously we have the Women's Origin, which we've got a few girls in, and obviously Georgia Hannaway, really exciting for her to make her debut for Queensland in this 3rd and final game. But yeah, the girls are ready to go. So looking forward to that. All right. And I've been shown a few merch things that are happening coming up, and I'm not allowed to talk too much about that, Gary, but if you're listening, if there's a lot of, well, I know there's a lot of Jersey people on here, so that we've got another jersey coming at some point. I don't know if that's a secret, but we won't talk about that too much. But I've seen it, and it's unbelievably sick. It's amazing. For our older viewers, sick means really good. For our younger viewers, I'm sorry that I'm trying to act all young, but that's exciting. You guys are really busy, guys and girls, and I mean, yeah, the merch people in general are just killing it. Yeah, they are. It's so good to have that store over there in Woolooware Bay, and you know, the program that they're running over there and online and everything like that, and all the merch that we're getting out of there is just second to none. It's bloody unreal. So down at the stadium, I did see a few burst out, a lot of burst out merch actually, which is exciting. Yes, and yeah, it's when the team is going well, I think it's a given that the merch does better. Yeah, of course. But also the fact that the merch is so fresh and
creative and varied. It's like I'm going on about the burst out stuff like 24/7, but if you don't like that, there's something else for someone else. So just a shout out to the merch people, because I mean on this show they get a lot of shout outs, but in general they don't. They're the mysterious people that you never see or hear from. Very few accolades. So congratulations to everyone involved with that. It's a good time.
Unreal. Yeah, absolutely unreal. So keep it up, Barnesy and team.
All right, now Gary, let's get a bit of a prediction from you. We're not prediction people, but what do you think's going to happen? What do you see? What's the margin going to be, etc.?
Yeah, I think we'll get the 2 points. I think we know what we need to do, and we'll go out there and do it. And I just want to see us put in a solid 80-minute performance. I'm not too worried about the scoreline, but I think we can get him by 10.
All right, I'll give you another prediction.
Go.
Person of the match.
Ooh.
I believe he wears number 6. The hometown hero is going home. The King of Carrying Bar is going back to Gosford, where I think it kind of all began in some stage. Nico Hines will be your best on field, and we're going to win, and I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. We're almost 24 hours out as we record this.
Yes.
So if you're up at the stadium and you see people around from this show, give a shout out, a high five, put us in a headlock, whatever you want to do. Nothing too bad, though. And we'll be around to cover the game afterwards like we are. So follow us on all of our feeds on the socials. There's a website. Do what you got to do. Stay in touch with SharkCast Pod, and we'll bring you the latest and our opinions and everything else. And you can have your opinions, more importantly, as well. So thanks for supporting the show. Until we speak to you again, Gary, appreciate your time, my friend.
Thanks for having me, as always.
Good luck to all the 17, 18, 19 gentlemen out there on the field now warming up for tomorrow. And we will say up, Cronulla, and we will see you.